Hello and welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, thank you so much for coming here. I totally appreciate you. I don't take it for granted at all. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you for always coming back. It means the world to me. Yes, you are my real family. You know what they say about not despising the days of little beginnings, right? We are growing, we will not always be little. And by the time we grow way bigger than this, I'm going to be looking back at these days and appreciating you all over again because you were the ones who stayed with me when we were just starting. And that means a whole lot to me. Thank you for always tuning in. Yes, so after a quick break, we're going to be diving into what we're talking about today. You can see the topic already. I always like to show the topic first so that I can hold your interest and your attention so you do not run away. So I'll see you right after the break. All right, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for not going away. Yes, so we're diving in right away. Um, I'm going to be posting a picture, right? The picture you're seeing right now, whether it's up, down, sideways, wherever the picture is going to be popping up. So that picture has a backstory. So that's the story I want to quickly share with you. This is something that I like a lesson I like to share with mothers, right? So this happened on Friday, on Saturday, was when my girls were supposed to make their hair for school. So my younger daughter made her hair. She usually does not really choose and like, oh, I want this, I want that. She's generally okay when you say, okay, you're making her today, she'll make her hair. The only thing is, okay, she may pick a style, but if for any reason the style is not suitable and I insist on another style, she hardly really drags it on, like have a debate. But my first daughter, she's already very set in the things she likes, the things she wants, and well, thankfully they are not bad things, but she just has this mind of her own, and it is a lot, right? But and we know as mothers, we want to be careful as parents not to break something that is a strength in them while trying to ensure that they stay in line with our instructions and they are doing what they are supposed to do at every point in time, right? Also, she said she doesn't want to make her hair on Saturday because the style she wanted to make, that is another, they have two stylists. So one of them is like the regular, the other one is like our plan B whenever we are not able to meet up with the first person. So she was like she prefers the other lady with the particular style she wants to make. So I was already tired, like I don't have time to drag. Okay, fine, you make your hair tomorrow. That was Sunday. So I know, okay, at least Sunday, 5 p.m., 6 p.m., even at 6 p.m., the woman is, she can show up. So we went on Saturday. Her sister made her hair. But by the end of Saturday, we realized that we had a birthday celebration to attend in Ikorodu on Sunday after church. So that means we're all going to leave from church to Ikorodu. So that was looking like a very full day. And at that time, I could not change my plans. So I was already upset. Like, do you see what you have cost now? How are you going to go to school? And their school is one that is very strict with their rules and regulations. Excuse me. When they set rules, there's no room for bending. There's no, I know your mother's father's uncle sister, So a rule is a rule. And personally, I'm someone that likes to keep rules. I don't like issues. I like to just abide by rules and regulations. As long as the rules and regulations are good for God and good for man, right? So I hate to be the parent who's going to beg, oh please, sir, help me. If my child is already defaulting, I just find a way to fall in line, or I just make sure they don't go to school at all. I don't have time to, I don't just like doing that. So I was already upset, like, you have to make your hair, you know, as in you should have made your hair when your sister made her hair, So we went for the party, still hoping that, oh, somehow we'll make it back on time. But my people, we didn't get into the house till 9 p.m., past 9 p.m. that night. So she was like, okay, they allow people pack their hair to school, but I have to take permission from the head of senior secondary. I was already not liking that. So the next morning, she was worried that, oh, so they normally go with the school bus. So she was worried that if she goes with the gel that she'll use to hold the front of her hair, because her hair is natural, she's on natural hair, so that they may seize it and she may get into trouble for having gel in her bag, because they'll search their bag at the access control point. And so I was like, okay, so don't go with the school bus. Let the school bus driver go. And she had not even packed the hair, and the driver was already outside calling. So I told him to go without them, that I was going to bring them. So our driver took us to school. We still got to school. We got to school before the school bus. So by the time I called the teacher in charge, she was not picking. I sent an SMS, sent a WhatsApp message. There was no response. So we got to school And then um I went to the teacher by the access control. She was like, oh, please follow me. So I felt like I wanted to turn back, but somehow I felt that nudging to follow her. So I got there and the lady was like, oh, they won't allow her in class that day, that she was going to sit in the hall. I was like, the whole day in the hall. So she was like, do you have a comb in your bag or anything? You can, if you can make this hair into four like cornrows, so they will allow her enter the school and stay in class. So I went to the car, there was no comb, but we had the biro. At that point, I was so calm. Frankly, I had not slept properly at night. I woke up early. That scenario was yelling worthy. Like, it was justified I was going to yell. Now, I shout too. I won't be like mothers, they never shout, right? But sometimes some situations make me raise my voice, but I always shout consciously. I don't use words. I don't use abusive words. I don't call names while if my voice is raised. So I'm conscious of what I am saying, right? But so I would have been very upset, but it was strange. I was so calm, I was so relaxed. And I was like, wow, this is not like me for this kind of scenario, right? I made the hair in the car quickly, and then she went to school. Even after she had gone, while we we're making the hair, younger sister around that, mommy, I left my laptop at home. Another thing that would have made me like, why didn't you pick it? Didn't you know you are supposed to know? You know that you should put your things together the night before school. Did that. I would have been talking. I was like, okay, the driver will come back with it. Ordinarily, I'll just tell her, I'm not bringing it, But there was just this calmness, and I was just in a very good place. I went home, her hair was sorted, got the laptop, driver went back, dropped it for them, and all was good. By the time she came back, she was very remorseful. She was really remorseful. In fact, before, while I was speaking, in fact, that morning, she was already remorseful because I was not yelling. She was really remorseful that she's sorry for not making her hair on that day. And I already know that next time we need to make her hair, she will not come up with a plan B. Coincidentally, this happened in a time where the Spirit of God laid in my heart to have the prayer sessions with mothers for our children. And one of the things we prayed about, I think the last time we prayed was we pray on Thursdays and Saturdays on Instagram in this month of May. If you're watching this maybe in June, July, later in the year, 2 years later, 1 year later, you can always catch the replay on this channel, right? So we prayed about the words of our mouth. I remember that, and that was God answering, because that was a situation where I would have been very upset. First, I'd lose my peace. She will also now be frazzled, and I may not even be able to achieve much, because really, the instructions you give to your children when you are yelling, they really do not run deep. They do not really go deep into their hearts, unlike the ones you tell them calmly, because it's just like learning too. When you have a teacher who is harsh, your ability to learn is already diminished, because there's tension, the heart is not in a good place, they're afraid. But when they are relaxed, children, learners tend to do better. So without shouting, that message was passed across quietly. And it was when I was narrating the experience to a friend of mine, she was like, but God helped you. That was grace. So that if it was harsh, she'd be very, very upset. I was like, really? Yes, right? Even me, I would have been upset ordinarily. But then I began to look back, and I remember that scenario where I remember that story that says someone was having a difficult time and they were going through a trying season, and they said while they were walking, they had these two pairs of footprints, and then after a while, the person said he saw only one when things became very tough, and he began to question Jesus, like, "Why you left me when I needed you the most?" And Jesus looked at him and smiled and said, "When you were at the peak of that trial, and he saw only one pair of footprints, he said that those were my footsteps, those were my footprints. I was carrying you at that time." And that story came back to my mind when I thought about the whole scenario. This happened on Monday. I'm recording this on a Tuesday. This was yesterday. I'm like, wow, this is what really happened. The Lord was carrying me. So I just thought to do a video around this. Like, there's grace for us mothers. Yeah, there's grace for us. If only we can lean into that grace. Like I said, we had just prayed like days before, Saturday before, about the words of our mouth, and just sometimes, even in the midst of your prayers, the very prayer point you have not even prayed, it's like God is seeing that we mothers gathering on those prayer calls, there's a basic heart cry. We want to do better as mothers. We want children who listen to us, who lean into our instructions, who are malleable, who are teachable, right? And that just played out. And it was like God was telling me, it's not by power and might, it's not by screaming and shouting. Can you see? You didn't shout, but you could see genuine repentance. You could see that next time we have to make choices, she's now going to be more conscious, like, oh, mommy gave me grace. She extended grace to me when I messed up, quote and unquote. So we must also learn to extend grace to our children. I think that's what that situation taught me, because I went out of my way. I made the hair for her, and when we're making the hair, I was even just with her. We were even just laughing, and I look back, I'm still like, even my husband, I'd be like, hey, is this my wife? Where is my wife? And what did you do with her? You know, but it was such a strong lesson. It's left such a strong imprint in my heart, and I will never forget it. And I want you mothers out there to remember, it's not by power and might, it's not. Let's consciously lean into God. And it has given me the confidence to now pray that prayer, because I know now it's possible for your child to go out of line and you are not losing it. You are in control, you are at peace, and you are in charge of the situation. And I realize that when we do that, we are allowing God take over. But when we are shouting, when we are worried, when we are trying to find the answers, we are not allowing God do what he should do. He steps aside and is looking at us. But when we lay it all down, he steps in. That was what happened that day. That was God stepping in, and I will not forget it. So in other future scenarios, I'm praying, of course, it's my prayer that they stay teachable, that I don't always have to have those scenarios, right? But it's just a reminder that in the future, in any time, at any time when it looks like, oh, I'm about to lose it, it's a tense situation, I will remember that it's not by yelling, and that there's grace to help. When I am calm and I do not choose my own way, God steps in and he does what only him can do, right? I hope this has helped a mother out there, even a father. There's something called transferable wisdom. So fathers can also apply this, because parenting is not just for us mothers, it's for both mothers and fathers. So I trust that this has helped you, and you would share with a mother, a woman in your life, the women in your life, in your circle. Yes, thank you for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so that you're the first to know when I post another video here. Until I come your way again, keep winning. Bye.